Hi everyone, I'm sitting here with my factory 533 Hot Rod version 2, and it's time to encapsulate the whole front engine in fiberglass. Hi everyone, welcome to the channel about kit cars and other car topics. If you like what you see, please subscribe and hit the notification buttons below and share with others on social media. So as you last saw, I finished up the trunk lid, got it pretty much 98% done, and now we're kind of moving on to the front area. Now what's interesting about this area is when I ordered the car, and I was also working on this mid-rise intake when I was doing the engine, which I did the engine before I did the car, there was a lot of measurements and research and stuff like that on which hood would actually fit the car. And so I don't think the normal hood fits the car. You have to have the one with a little bevel in it. And so until today, months and months and months later, I'm not really sure how well this engine fits. And so we're going to figure that out as we go through the process here and put this thing together. You know, throughout this process of working on the bodywork, it's been a little bit intimidating and not knowing where it's going to go and how does this stuff connect and, all these kind of things that go through your mind. But as I work through the process, it's kind of been a lot of labor, but no big deal. Really, it's not rocket science. I'm not saying that there's not craftsmen that do this work, but I'm not doing that stuff yet. I'm just doing, chopping it in, getting it to fit, that kind of stuff. And it hasn't really been that bad. So if I was, mechanically inclined, then I would do 80% of the work yourself, if not all of it. Just depends on what level you want this car to go to. Is it going to be show car quality? Because I have seen some of these cars where it was a little butchered. Areas where the seatbelt is supposed to be cut out is just like zigzagged and like jacked up, and that's not good enough for me, So, but if you are mechanically inclined, and you should be able to tackle this stuff no problem and do a lot of the work yourself. So anyways, let's hop to it. So here comes a moment of truth. Yeah. It's good clearance. And that bubble comes all the way out to about here. So you can see it right there. Nice. Good thing I got that one. It wouldn't fit with the regular hood. We're having some interference issues with the bolt hitting this, and you know, there's all this adjustment that you could do. I'm maxed out, like, and this thing's touching there, and it's also touching right there. So, and I've removed one little louver or whatever you want to call it right there. So it seems like if I shave this bolt down, and you want to have this bolt this way, because if you put it in the other way, you have to take the whole radiator off to remove the shock later if you have some kind of issue. So you put it in this way. We could shave this down, leave a little bit so this has something to grip on. Then over here, I'm assuming if I'm able to tilt this in just a quarter of an inch, an eighth of an inch or whatever, that this tilting in a little bit will create the clearance down there for that bottom to go out. I don't know if that's true, but that's what we're gonna try. And then once I get this all figured out, then we're probably gonna go back to my pain in the ass nightmare system here and redo all these riv nuts because these freaking suck. It's just been a nightmare to get to work. So we're gonna pull this off, we're gonna do some chopping, and then we're gonna try to put it back on, and then hopefully we can start getting that hood to cut in. All right, so it actually worked. We got some nice clearance there. And now we can see that is officially clearing a decent amount actually. Pretty good. So a quarter inch or so. So everything is looking pretty nice. And I locked this in so it's nice and tight. And now we're gonna put the hood back on and see what happens. So after going back and forth about 8 times or so, in fact, I even stopped filming because it was just back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. I'm finally at the point where the lid is sitting inside the grill, and now I'm going to put a gap line in there. All right, so I wanted to give you a little update. So as I was trimming in the hood, once I got it to fit in to this, crease here, I noticed that this does not line up. Now I have bumpers to get this to line up, but with the bumpers and everything, if I get this flat, this down here is too low. It's like down here. And if I, shim this up to where it's perfectly matched here, the lid is actually like, I don't know, 1/4 inch, 1/8 of an inch, something like that on top. So not sure what to do there. So what I did is I actually stopped trimming in the hood because it might be tweaked, or the mold's a little weird, or I need to be a badass body worker to figure that out, which I'm not. So what I ended up doing is just start rough cutting everything. And so there's all these little pieces like here you had to trim in. This had a full ledge like this going across the whole top. Saw me cut that whole thing off, and then I grounded it nice and smooth. So I did that for both units. And then the side panels, they're supposed to be 3/4 of an inch. And so I did all the rough cutting to get that all nice and smooth across all that. So basically I kind of bailed on doing the high-end finishing and gapping and all that stuff, and just said, you know what? Let me get 80% of the work done. And so I just got all that work done, and then probably gonna, talk to my buddy Greg or get someone to help me out with this, or talk to Factory 5 and they're like, the hood's jacked, let us send you another hood. So we'll see what that is, but it just doesn't seem to be lining up. But otherwise, it's going all right. It's going pretty good. So I'm not too freaked out about it. It's just par for the course a little bit. And just keep moving on to the next thing. Have a great day.